This mirrorless camera should be the best for video shooting, yet nobody talks about it. It shoots 6K, it got really good AF, it got really good in-body stabilization, and it got good color. It's a Sony, it's Panasonic. Oh, you might think that, oh, Panasonic isn't really bad at autofocusing, it's a laughing stock in the market. And the problem is, people either think they know about this camera, they know that Panasonic got really bad AF, or people don't even know it even exists. Specifically talking about the Panasonic S5II. This was announced during CES 2023 and I was there. It was the only new camera during CES 2023 and people don't know about it. People in CES, they saw me using this brand new camera. I told them this is a brand new camera, just announced, and they said, oh, is it a Sony? More people should know about this camera because it is great. It is the best. Well, there's no best camera. Maybe not the best. It got one minor problem, but it's not even autofocus. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room first. The AF system isn't bad anymore. It's good now. It's not bad anymore. Stop saying that. After they add in face detection autofocus. Look at that, I'm actually shooting with my S5IIx. Tell me it's not good. It's a little bit slow because I set it up like that. I like the focusing speed a little bit slow. Looks more like a human wrecking the focus. Okay, I said it before that you can't really just simply move in and out inside the frame and claim the Panasonic AF is good.
Forever regret that I said this about GH5. Looks like the face detection worked really well as well. But later I talked about this many times.
Yeah, sometimes when you test it, it works really well.
Yeah.
When tested, it looks like it's working brilliantly. But then if you own it and use it for a month,
yeah,
it's kind of like, oh, what? In some situations, it's like, why it don't work?
The most annoying thing is, for 99% of the time, it just works like it should be. But 1 millisecond later, it just keep going out of focus. Just go the whole range of the focusing. Look, it's working and then it's not. Or basically just shut down. It's already better if there's a human face. Even worse when there is no human face for it to recognize to focus on. Oh, this one's working, oh. Maybe you think because I use a cheap S5. Well, it happened to this Netflix approved S1H.
But now I know it's good because I have been using it for over a year. I have shot maybe over 50 or so video in this channel, in my Cantonese channel and in Kai's channel. I'm using it heavily, so I know it actually works now. At the beginning, I was actually using the beta firmware. Back then, it did got a little bit of that Panasonic quirk. Since then, Panasonic released the final firmware and I upgrade to it, and then I don't see that quirk anymore. It's continuously working for totally fine. Actually, I'm still on firmware 1.1. Actually, Panasonic had since released several firmware updates and I'm still on 1.1.
With the beta firmware, it also overly insists on focusing on something that's closest, no matter it's at the edge of the frame. But even on my very old firmware 1.1, I don't think it's that extreme anymore. After all, it's also happened to Sony, which is supposed to have the best AF system. So now my favorite AF mode is zone focusing around in the center area.
Most of the time I will shoot something that is got a face or a product. Either is it suited for myself or shooting for Kai. This is much better to switch from a product to a face and then back to a product to a face. How about something small? Oh, this is small. This is Sony battery. Look, it works. Smaller in frame. Yeah.
It is working so well now, I have confidence that it would just work.
On April 22nd, they actually released firmware 3.0. It's actually quite a substantial big firmware update.
One of which is we have already got it on the G9 Mark II. Before this, we only got human, face eye, or human and animal. But now you can choose human body or face and eye, animal body or animal eye. Now you also have car or motorcycle. I always wonder where does it focus on the car, what's the eye of the car. Looks like it's very front of the car rather than the windscreen. The same goes for photos. Well, I guess it do make sense.
Well, you can see it for yourself. I have been using the S5 II for over a year, ever since it announced it. On my channel, on Kai's channel, you can see so many videos. The autofocusing are great, especially those travel vlogs, because travel vlogs are really demanding for AF system. When you travel or when you are just in a cafe using public Wi-Fi, a trustworthy and reliable VPN is essential. Just like the NordVPN, my sponsor of this video, I've been using NordVPN for a long time as well. Do you know there are fake Wi-Fi in hotel or cafe? It has been happening for a long time. The fake Wi-Fi looks like a real Wi-Fi from the hotel or cafe. If you connect to them, anything you type into your browser, whoever who set up those fake Wi-Fi can get anything you type, especially your login, password. But with NordVPN, it can encrypt anything you type into your browser, even if you connect to those fake Wi-Fi. You can also connect to NordVPN server around the world, make you appear to be in another country. So you can access geo-logged website or potentially get better deal. Check out NordVPN with the link in the description box. There are 30 days money back guarantee, so basically it's a free trial. And if you sign up for 2 years plan, you can get 4 months for free. Another great thing about this camera is that it shoots 6K open gate. Oh yeah, I don't have a 6K TV, let alone 8K or whatever. Why do I need a 6K shooting? Yeah, well, people don't have 8K TV as well. That doesn't stop Sony and Canon release their 8K shooting camera. Why we do that? Actually, people have been using this method. People have been shooting 4K and then deliver 1080 video, because then in post-production, in editing, you can crop in, you can basically zoom in post-production without losing pixel. That's the same as 6K. And why do I probably don't want 8K, because it's still 8K file are really big, and then you need a really fast computer to edit 8K video. But 6K, much more manageable. You can still crop in post-production. I have been using it a lot. Also, I didn't only say it shoots 6K, I said it shoots 6K open gate. What is open gate? Basically, it shoots the whole, it uses the whole sensor. The sensor in this mirrorless camera is actually 3x2. But when you're shooting 16:9 video, it just crop in a little bit to become 16:9. But this shoots 3x2 6K video. So when I'm editing, I actually got a little bit room about here and below here. Good thing is that I can correct the framing a little bit if the framing is slightly off. But also it's easier to deliver for vertical YouTube shots or IG Reel or TikTok or whatever.
The reason is simple. You usually see people cropping 16:9 from horizontal to vertical and it becomes uncomfortably narrow. But because I shoot in 3x2, I actually got a little bit more room to breathe.
Ever since 2017, Panasonic released the GH5, people realized it got the best stabilization in the world across all the brands, all the camera, and they continue to this Panasonic GH5 Mark II as well. Full frame, still got the best stabilization. But when you look at the edges, you can see it's wobble a little bit. Maybe you already noticed in this video, or you know that it happened to GH5. People say that the GH5 got a problem with stabilization. It got an error, it got a bug. Some people suspect that why I can't turn off the electronic stabilization, because it looks like digital electronic stabilization. It almost looks like it's a post-production stabilization done in editing. But turns out, I think I know what it is. It is just lens distortion.
Now this is what we usually see straight from the camera's in-body stabilization. It wobbles, it must got bug, it got problem, right? But what did I mean it is actually lens distortion? Actually really simple. When you tilt up and down, the lens distort and these parallel lines not parallel anymore. It's not a bug of the lens. Now what if I simply move the frame up and down to compensate of the movement? Basically that's the definition of image stabilization. There's no software trickery, there's no artifact introduced, and no, it just wobble. Actually it's not wobble, it's just lens distortion. It's physics. It's not some artifact that introduced from a software bug. I would even say that this happened on Panasonic camera because it's just too good on stabilization.
So now I have the electronic stabilization turned on, which they said it corrects the lens distortion, which I have tested. I actually tested on G9 Mark II. They started it in G9 Mark II. I think that was the first time I saw it. So this distortion, this wobbling, should not be there anymore. They also added, in this latest firmware 3.0, they added electronic stabilization high setting as well. So this is standard, let me switch it to high. So this is high, it cropped in a little bit more. Even I'm using 18mm, my head almost feel the frame. Actually from this screen, it looks like the scene isn't moving at all, it is me moving up and down. It's not the whole frame moving, it's just me moving.
Last few points, availability of lenses. Despite being the latest into the game of full-frame mirrorless, they cheated and formed an alliance with Leica. Suddenly they have the L-mount from 2014 and full-frame L-mount lenses from 2015 from Leica. But even just Panasonic themselves, they now have quite a wide range of lenses. From wide-angle zoom, the usual 24-70, 70-200 or 300, this lightweight 20-60 kit lens, probably the most useful kit lens. Large aperture 51.4, they even have a set of f1.8 lenses, all with the same body. Same size from 18mm to 85mm. And don't forget Sigma is part of the alliance too. Both the S5 Mark II and the ProRes shooting S5 Mark IIx are less than $2,000. And it don't overheat despite having around the same size as the predecessor S5. It actually has a cooling fan. And it's still weatherproof as well. I have subjected it to 30 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. It still don't overheat. And when you look at other brands, Sony have been doing quite well lately. Fujifilm resort to first-party add-on fan. Canon had outdone Sony on overheating, and then resort to extreme. Oh, you want a fan? I'll give you a huge one then. At the beginning, I've mentioned there's one minor problem. Well, it's not that bad, the rolling shutter If you swing it like that, yeah, it looks bad. But as I mentioned, I have been using it heavily for over a year. It don't really show up in the video that I shoot for myself and for Kai as well. So it depends. If you shoot a lot of action, drama, and definitely not so good if you're Wes Anderson. Well, he should film anyway.
So these are many reasons why this is the best, well, except the rolling shutter, but for most people, for me, it doesn't really matter. So almost the best mirrorless camera for video shooting. And I really want more people to realize this, and I hope more brilliant camera coming from Panasonic. And that's my cat's